When John talked about autopsies in movies, it reminded me of an incident in one of John's films that I happened to have had a small part in, one of Feasts. They were having an autopsy on my son.
He didn't hear any of it.
And they actually tapped the reproductive sperm thing, and sperm started shooting out of this monster's penis on film. There was a very religious woman that John had hired, literally, very religious. And she's a great actress. Boy, she lives in Dallas, Texas. She walked on to Hollywood. It's too sinful. And she loves to act. Well, she saw this sperm shooting out in this autopsy, literally onto her and all the other people in the scene. And the scene was over. And we were discussing balls and things like that, naturally. And she had this very religious woman, we all knew who she was, said, well, I like balls. That stopped the conversation. So for her to say that, this extremely religious person, and a good person, but a great actor, a great artist in Dallas, Texas. When she said, I see my story's not going over, but this is what happened. But
she was the one that got thrown off the roof. Her name is Cassie, and she had the long hair. She's very innocent and lovely, lovely actress and girl. If any of you saw.
But you don't know who you're with. This group here, small as it is, there could be a great acting artist among you. You say, well, no, we know all these people. You don't. You don't know who these people are who come to these festivals. Great artists from Ireland, from Germany, from all over Spain. We have artists from all over the world coming to these festivals. We had a man, Steve, from Colorado. He stayed as long as he could. Can you believe that? That came down to this festival. First, the premiere of this great festival was the beginning. And hopefully will become one of the premier festivals on earth. We all have our fingers crossed. But I must tell you, when this woman said that, everything just stopped. No one could go on with the conversation.
I just wanted to know, I got friends from Toronto here, and they wanted to know, they're kind of shy. And you know who I'm hanging out with, those guys. Right in the corner, right over there. Okay. Very shy. By the way, no one really welcomed you guys to Niagara Falls. So I wanted to, welcome you guys, and we're going to have fun after, later on, and tomorrow, whatever, before you guys go. And thank you very much for coming, especially Clu.
Especially what?
Yeah. Yeah, especially Clu. No, it's just my stupidity, the stupid jokes. You guys are incredible. Yeah, and we really do thank you for coming. So my questions are to Clu. One, Clu, did you, who is your favorite person? You've done so many, so much work over, the years, and of course we all know your age, and you're incredible for the age you are, and if any of us can make it to that age, wow, awesome. It's unbelievable. Who was your favorite person? It's hard to say because you've done so much work over the years that you've worked with. And the second question is, for the birds in the corner, because I love those guys, Lee Majors. Talk about Lee Majors and tell them.
Well, that's a tough one, isn't it? Because that's an amazing, great acting artists in Hollywood now. There weren't when I first got there, but there are now, I would say. And it's difficult. But Sally Field had a mother who was an alcoholic. I worked with her on The Tall Man in an episode. It was a series I did. I played Billy the Kid, of all things. I was in my 30s. And let me tell you, she was brilliant. Sally Field Mama. Naturally, she went the way of all alcoholics. She fucking died. Boy, she was brilliant. There was a woman who won an Academy Award when she was a little girl. She was in a show where she played a baseball player.
Oh, no, baseball player? For Paper Moon?
Yeah,
Tatum O'Neal?
Tatum O'Neal's mother.
Oh.
I'm trying to mention stars that you would know about. Tatum O'Neal, you know who Tatum O'Neal is?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Tatum O'Neal won an Academy Award as a child, which is absurd. But she was that good, so people voted for her. But her mother, I worked with. Again, on an episode when I got to town, I did a series, The Tall Man, Billy the Kid. I worked with Tatum O'Neal's mother. She wasn't at that time Tatum O'Neal's mother. She was the wife of Ryan O'Neal. And boy, she's one of the greatest acting artists I've ever worked with in my life. She's a junkie. Naturally, she died. But what an actor. There was a woman I worked with on the Playhouse in 91 time, then I'll end it with this. You wouldn't know her, her name was Diane. She was so well trained. She was so pure in her acting, it was scary to work with her. She was too real, too realistic. You believed everything she did, which is really hard for another actor. Because we're all play-like, it's all pretend. It wasn't with her. At least that's what it seemed like. She had a very serious disease. She went home and died. So it seems as if, as I say, the great God above doesn't always protect the great artists, even though they are great contributors to our society. All of you who came here today, you say, well, we're just peons. We just live here and near here. We came to see some acting artists and directors, special effects people. That's not true. I don't see how movies, which is America's art at the moment, could exist without you. Now maybe you do, but think about it when you go home. You are as much an integral part of my art as these two great artists are. I have never understood how people don't appreciate. That's why we come to these things, because we meet you, and we know who you are. The three of us know who you are. And you say, well, I hope they don't know too much. That's what we want to know. We want to know everything. We believe that you are the guts of our business. Without you, we really couldn't make movies, could we? Maybe you think we could. You try it without fans and see where you get. You can't get anywhere. And I'm not bullshitting. And I'm not blowing smoke. I'm a 90-year-old actor who's worked almost more than any other actor in America. And let me tell you, I know wherever I speak. And I'm trying to teach my son John this. Diane, who works with me, who's a brilliant teacher, one of the greatest actors I've ever worked with. So I must tell you that we appreciate who you are. And we thank you for coming, not thanking us. You keep us. I couldn't get paid in the movies, television, and things with, and you know, without you, I couldn't.
You
Inspire us!
Lee Majors.
Lee Majors, I thought, was not a good actor. I worked with him a couple of times. And then I realized he was what we call a do-nothing actor. What does that mean, a do-nothing actor? That's what I teach in my workshop. You let the lines in the manuscript carry the emotion, the characterization, the relationship between human beings in the script. You say, well, how did he work? Because of his looks? Oh yeah, you gotta have an image. You gotta have an image. You saw how Diane looked in that film she made for John. My God, like the great editor here said, she's the sexiest woman in horror films at that time. You know, when she made that film, and she was. And he recognized it, and he said it on the air in your festival. So don't fuss at me, I'm just telling you what he said, and I agree with that. She was dynamite, because she portrayed sex without portraying sex. She just portrayed violence and ugliness and meanness. But in that, it was very, very beautiful. So that's the kind of thing that I look for when I see actors. I don't ever fool around with actors. You know, Lee Marvin, one of the greatest actors I've ever worked with. He won the British Academy Award for acting, best actor for The Killers, which was a little picture we made in America, practically unseen for a while. He won the British Academy Award for his do-nothing acting in The Killers. He didn't do much. He just walked around and, lady, we don't have the time. And then he killed two people, President Ronald Reagan and Angie Dickinson. Lady, we don't have the time. That's all he said. And it had so much power, it blew me away when I saw it.
Okay, one last thing about Lee Majors, and it's really not about him, but it's about basically the everyday dangers of working on a set. Dad was doing a thing called the Fall Guy. Was that it? And they're out in the desert, and there was a helicopter in the scene. And so Dad's standing over there. He wasn't doing his part at this moment. He was out. He was standing off, you know, waiting for it to be called to the set. And all of a sudden, a box fell out of the helicopter and landed on Dad, just out of the blue. And so, but no one knew that. And so he was sort of wandering around because he was sort of knocked out, but walking, and he started walking right into the scene where they were shooting, and someone like grabbed him and said, "Clu, what are you doing there?" Stuntman. But they didn't know. The Dad had blood running down his face and everything, and then they realized what had happened. But that's just like standing on a set, doing nothing. You're still gonna get hurt, and especially the guys. But now that the girls are doing more and more action, they're getting hurt now. So it's not that safe.
John and I were talking about it this morning, how Linnea was nude, buried in dirty water
And dirt.
and
Come out of the grave.
Yeah, came out, did that all herself, didn't think twice about it, and where we come from there, where now people are really learning to protect themselves, you know, and you just don't think about it, but even Louise Brooks talks about in her biography how the directors almost killed her, like more than once. And Clu talks about how Chandelier needed to be tested. The great actor, Stuart Granger, said, I'm not going to be under that chandelier unless I can see that it's not going to fall on me. And everybody just gave him hell and just,
It takes
okay.
so long.
All right, if you insist, we'll do it. And it fell right to the floor.
And it went right through the floor.
Yeah.
Would have cut him in half. And the director, whoever threw up, and they got it set back up, and they got it right and shot the scene. But,
Was there another question?
Yep, one last question. Oh, one more read ahead.
Yeah, one
last
Hey, the last one was the last one.
Second last.
Second to last one, I guess. Yeah, I just want to say a
This is
little
the
bit.
Martine, that was the Abbey.
I just want to say a little bit about the
Dad got to work
franchise.
with Abby Singer. If any of you guys know what that is, and the second to last shot and all that stuff, and on sets, they go, "This is the Abbey." Well, Dad used to work with Abby Singer at Universal Studios, and he was the guy from was he from the tower or what? He would show up on the set when it was time to close down, and he would be there about the second to last shot, and became a thing. And so now even on our little tiny indie shots, and no one knows who Abby Singer is at all, they go, it's the Abby, and then it's the martini, and
Apropos,
the martini.
The martini.
And its daughter's name is Abby, by the way.
Oh, see, I knew that.
Yeah. She's named after a King Diamond album.
You think?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, the Feast franchise, it's such an amazing franchise that you guys made. And the beautiful thing about it is it's so extreme. You went to a level and then further, but it's so beautifully shot and edited, and the score and everything, it just makes it really stand out. And it takes a lot of heart to make a film that extreme. Like you said, you went through issues in the town. You know that you have to deal with all these things making that movie to provide the product, the vision that you have. And it takes a lot of heart to do something like that. And that's amazing. I just want to say thanks for pulling through with something like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we thank you guys for being so patient. You know, we just go sitting here and you're trying to learn something and watch actors, and you begin to realize they're absolutely no different than you are, and you're no different than we are. I come from Oklahoma, I'm an Indian, and I come from a violent land, and I was violent, and I joined the Marine Corps. But we're just like you. We're no different than you are, and you must always keep that in mind. If you see a bad performance, say, well, I can do better than that. In most cases, you could. But that's because the part didn't fit the actor. An actor can only shine when the role is right for her or for him. That's my feeling anyway. But thank you guys for coming and for asking some really good questions. You know, we could talk all night, but I know you have to finish the show.
I wish, yeah. Thank you.
All right, everyone, thank you. And I guess you guys have a photo op to head up to, so if anybody's got the photo op, then that's what's happening right now. So once again, everybody put your hands together for the Gulagers.
Woo! Yeah!
Blue. And
We're actually both sitting.